Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For a Pause in a Book. I make book and lifestyle related content stuff. That's something that you're interested in. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Today we're going to be talking about the things that I'm not a fan of in books. Okay, so this is one of my favorite videos to watch, and I realized I don't know that I've ever done one. I've done a things I love in books a really long time ago, and I probably could update that and like have different opinions. But I want to do a video on the things that I don't like in books, so that hopefully you guys can give me some suggestions, and then maybe I will do a vlog on that, reading your suggestions. These are not like book specific where I'm like, you know, oh, I don't like deckled edges or things like that. These are tropes, characters, storylines, plots, whatever, whatever you want to call it. But things that are like specifically in books that when people are talking about them in a review and they say one of these things, then I'm like, not as interested anymore. I know that there are probably exceptions, which this is the whole goal of this series, is to try to find those exceptions. But I can't think of any for the tropes that I have. At least not very many. Some of these are like general, like across all genres. Some of them are genre specific, specifically mostly like romance and thrillers occasionally. The first one seems like a cop-out because I feel like everybody hates this, and if they don't, they're like very passionately for it. So those of you that are out there that are passionately for this, please give me your suggestions, because the first thing I hate is love triangles. And before you like come at me with the pitchforks, let me explain why. I don't think that love triangles are ever done well, because you end up with one leg of that triangle that's a very strong leg, and one that it's like, you're a shit human being. Why would she ever pick you? Why would he ever pick you? So, like, for me, a love triangle's never done well, and so because of that, I don't really want to see it in books. I can think of one exception to this, and that's Legendborn. I think that love triangle is really good because at the end of book one, you kind of can't tell who she's gonna pick, but we might screw it up in book two. Who knows? So yeah, love triangles. Don't love them. And I'm not trying to, like, be cliche about that. I feel like they're not ever well written. So if you have a well written love triangle where the two legs are equal and you could see the one person choosing either or by the end of the book, let me know down in the comments below, because in my experience, either one is obviously way better than the other one, or they're both just shit.
And then you're just Team Bella doesn't need a man.
The second one is more of a romance trope. I'm not a huge fan of second chance romances, and more specifically, I'm really not a fan of marriage on the rocks tropes. I have yet to find a book that I liked that was a marriage on the rocks trope, and honestly, even the second chance romances, they're just okay. Because my thing is that they broke up for a reason, and they're either two very different people by the time they get back together, because it's been 10 plus years, right? Or it was like, oh yeah, he cheated on me, but it's fine because he's hot. And I don't, So yeah, there's that. And then the marriage on the rocks trope just doesn't, there's just nothing for me there. I read the Bromance Book Club earlier this year. I really didn't like the whole story. The writing was fine. The characters were fine. I just didn't care about the two of them getting back together. And then I read a Tessa Bailey one, I think, that was a marriage on the rocks trope. I can't even remember what it was. I DNF'd that book. I really didn't like it. So I've yet to find a marriage on the rocks trope where the couple, like, that I care, that I give a shit. Number 3 definitely spans genres, but I think you see it most in thrillers or like lit fic, which is probably why I don't love lit fic in general, because a lot of it stems from this. But rich white people problems. And this specifically came about because I've had this list going for a while. There was a Sarah Pinborough book that I read. Can't even remember what it was. Or it has a lady like very close up with glasses. This book was literally just them complaining about their gardener and their car, and like the neighbor has a better car than them, and like I don't actually give a shit. Like, things are happening in the world. I do not care. I don't care. So that is a problem. We tend to see a lot of Karen characters come out in things like this, specifically in domestic thrillers, but also in literary fiction, and I just don't care. I don't care. Like, I've yet to find a book where that is a thing I care about. Number 4, there are exceptions to. And that is just novellas in general. A Dowry of Blood, obviously a big exception there. The Wayward Children, obviously an exception. However, my opinion of The Wayward Children is that if you just read them all back to back, they would just be a really great 800-page book. But A Dowry of Blood is a pretty good novella. But I feel like, because like my big thing is I want world building, I want a magic system, I want character development, I want dialogue and banter and like angst, and you can't do that generally in 150, 200 pages. You need a big chunky thing for that. No. Romance novellas, hate them, because they're always insta-love, and I don't like that. The next one is more specific to thrillers, and that is when mental health is used as the plot twist or the plot device. And I don't like that. As someone who really advocates for mental health on this channel and really talks about mental health, I don't like it when it's just used as a plot device or used to make someone look crazy. The Wives by Taryn Fisher is a really, really horrible example of this, or a really good example of why I don't like it. And it was awful the way that it was just, oh, well, you're just nuts. That's why you're doing these things. And so she wasn't taken seriously. And I hate that. Actually, I don't want a recommendation for that, because there's no way I will read a book with that. Like, especially if I already know. If I know ahead of time, then I'm just going to leave it, stay out of it. I don't want recommendations for this one. Number 6 is more for romance, and that is aggressive men, or like sexually aggressive men, specifically sexually dominant, like alpha men. And I think that the easiest example of this is a lot of Tessa Bailey's books, not including It Happened One Summer. We're going to leave that one out of the equation because I actually liked that one. But a lot of her books are very alpha men. It can get really weird, especially when they're not very alpha outside of the bedroom, and then like a light is flipped or something, and then they're like a completely different person, and it's just jarring. I don't know. There are exceptions to this one. Sophie Lark does pretty great alpha men. At least the one book that I read. That was good. So there are some, but I haven't read a lot. We'll say that. My note for this one, it's got to be middle grade. It's middle grade specifically. Why do the kids have to be the one to save the world? I guess a YA also. There are a lot of YA books where this is the case. But I never understand why it can be like it's just the kids doing the things. Like, where are the adults in this situation? Saving Lucas Biggs was a book that we read where I was just like, why are the adults not involved here? And like, they don't really give you a reason. I'm trying to think of other ones where it's like just kids involved, and I feel like it was a big trope in YA, like dystopian and fantasy, both media and books, for a really long time. And so because of that, it's just overdone, I guess, especially in YA. But in middle grade, it's like a 9-year-old is saving the world. Cool. Love that for us. Why? The next one, my note just says stereotypes in the LGBTQ plus community. This one came about from Queerly Beloved. I read this one earlier this month. And I just felt like everything was very stereotyped and two-dimensional. The gay best friends felt like they just like got pulled out of Queer Eye. Another book that I read a long time ago was When Kate Met Cassidy, and this one had a lot of the same for butch lesbians. Like everyone was a butch lesbian, and like the stereotype of that. I don't know, the community's not a monolith, so there's still normal people. That's so I don't know, stereotypes just kind of make me mad in general. I think you could probably say this for like mental health and neurodivergence as well. The next one is a pairing of two, because generally when you hear so-and-so was not like the other girls, it depends on which genre you're reading, what that actually means. Because if you're reading a YA fantasy, it's a chosen one trope, right? So generally that means that she's better, stronger, faster, smarter, whatever. However, if you are reading an adult romance and she's not like other girls, she's ditzy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. I have yet to find a book with a ditzy heroine that I have liked. The Love Hypothesis, like her entire personality is that she loved frappuccinos. She was so ditzy, so ditzy. I'm trying to think of other ones that like stick out to me, but that's what's coming to my mind first off. So, oops. I don't like ditzy females in romances. When you say not like other girls in YA, in fantasy, it's kind of like a yellow flag. It's not something that like I automatically will not read, but it is something that like, this may not be a 5-star, but I have yet to find a ditzy female that I liked. I guess it happened one summer. I can't remember what her name is at this current moment. I guess she could kind of be ditzy, but like at the beginning she was, but by the end I don't think she was. So I'm not calling her ditzy. Two more. The first one is probably more designed towards thrillers and or cozy mysteries. I see it happen in cozy mysteries all the time, and it's one of the reasons why I don't love that genre. But it's when the main character, for no apparent reason, inserts themselves into the investigation. And cozy mysteries are really good and or bad about this. Like it's a hallmark of that genre. I remember the most recent one that I read was like a year ago, where like the woman was literally just like walking into a chocolate shop to do an order and then finds a dead body. And so like therefore, because of that and because her boyfriend is a policeman, she had to be the lead investigator, even though she knew nothing about doing those things. So, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, why don't we just let the professionals do it? That's an option. That is an option. So, one of the things I don't love. And then finally, one of the ones that is, like, current. It's the most recent for me. I'm figuring this out. I'm not a fan of single POV romances. I'm reading Chef's Kiss right now, and it's a single POV romance. You only get one of the characters, and I feel like the other character is like, way more interesting, and I just keep wanting their opinion, and you know, and I don't love that. Allie Hazelwood also does it, and I don't love it. So yeah, if you can think of a single POV romance that was good and that you liked, let me know. That is definitely a video that I could do. Okay, so put your suggestions, put your recommendations down in the comments below. If you don't have any, but you want to let me know what's something that you really don't like in books, that would be an interesting conversation as well. And if you're not feeling chatty, let's do the sun emoji, because it's 100 degrees today and it's really hot. And yeah, I'm sweating a little bit, so that's what we're gonna do. That is all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little red button that you can do so down below the video, and all of the other links to my social media will be in the description below if you'd like to be my friend on any other platform. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.